Hey everyone, it is Jen Morgano with Carded Mum by Jen Morgano. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the United States. I live in Long Island. Well, I live on Long Island in New York, right? You don't live in Long Island, you live on Long Island. Anyway, today we are going to be making this little lantern. I have a tea light in it so you can hear it. We're going to be making this, and my inspiration, to be truthful with you, I am attending a retreat soon, and I was asked to pick something from the new catalog or online exclusives coming out in September and demonstrate a whole bunch of products with it. And I kind of went back and forth. I wasn't sure what to use. And then I said, you know what? These dies in the branching out set are absolutely so versatile that I have to go for it. And the first thing I thought of was a cutout, and I made a little treat box, which will probably be on my blog at some point. And then I said, ooh, what about this? And I had just watched a video by Stamping with Amore, which I'll put in the link below. She makes something similar, a little bit smaller. Hers, I think, starts with a 6 by 8.5 piece of paper, and I'm going to start with a 10.5 by 8.5. So mine's just a little bit bigger, and that's to accommodate this small die here, the first die, to cut that window out. So that's why I chose that. So as soon as I saw it, I said lantern. This is like my fourth iteration, by the way, fourth different version that I'm doing. So you can see I decorated it with some of the, where are they? They're hiding. The little branches and the pine cones and the berries. I used this piece along the top, some vellum, and I cut some labels out on the bottom here to just make the bottom part of the lantern a little bit more exciting. All right, so let's get to it. You're going to need the smallest, and then so the third smallest die, and then you're going to need these guys. Okay, so the pine cone, the branches, the berries, and the long strip of berries. Okay, move this out of the way, and I'll walk you through it. It's a little bit of a process. It's not too bad. But I'll show you. First, we'll start with our piece of paper. So like I said, we're going to start with a 10.5 by 8.5. So you can start with one piece of cardstock. You leave it fine across the top, but you're going to trim a 1/2 inch off the side here. Okay. And you can add that to your scraps that you'll probably never use, like me. Okay. Now with the 10.5 inch side going across the top, we're going to make some score marks, and we're going to score at a 1/2 inch. Move that cutting up so I don't cut my paper. Going to half, and then you're going to do every 2.5 inches. So 1/2 inch, and then you're going to go up to 3. Then you're going to go up to 5.5, and then you're going to go up to 8. Then you're going to rotate your paper clockwise. That was counterclockwise. What am I talking about? And you're going to score down at 2.5, and then 6. Okay, so there you go. Move my side. Okay, so here's what you're left with. What do I want to do? Okay, so right, your bottom, your centerpiece, and then your top. In order to get this triangular top, you're going to take a ruler, and on each of these across the top, you're going to mark a little tick mark at 1 1/4. Okay, so 1 1/4, you probably can't see. I'm glad I picked early espresso, right? Okay, so you make your tick mark there. Then you're going to get something a little mushy. I use my silicone mat. You can use, just some paper, whatever you have around, just something that gives you a little push. You can use a scoring stylus. If you have a scoreboard, you can use that. I'm using the stylus part of my take your pick tool. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to put your tool on that tick mark, and you're going to line it up with this score mark here, and just come down so you see that score mark. Okay, and you're going to do that here to make a triangle. Your triangle, and you're going to do that on each of these. So let's get that done. Down to that first score mark. Put your tool at that tick, down to that score mark. Okay, looks good. So now we're going to take our bone folder and burnish these score lines. And I'll show you what we're going to do with our triangle. I should say triangles, right? Okay. I'm going to use my larger scissors because these are a little bit longer. You're going to cut up here. Oops. Okay, and then on this little 1/2-inch tab, you're going to miter out a notch. So up, and then cut a little angle. Boop. And then cut up an angle. Ah, I can do it. I have faith. Okay, so this is what you're left with. Let's cut up here. Okay, now I want to get a little flap that we can bend and glue together so that the top of the lantern adheres a little bit easier and stays together nice. So what you're going to do is you're going to come over about, I forgot what Stampin' with Amore said. I think I go about 3/8. I kind of eyeball it. Just move over from that tick, a little bit over, and cut down like that. So you can see that we can bend this down and we'll have a little flap that we can glue to the other side. So you're going to do that on all your triangles. It's a little wily. And I know some of you are probably saying, Jen, I need an exact measurement. So let me get my ruler. It's about 1/4 of an inch I'm going. Okay, so you'd come out 1/4 of an inch from that tick and just cut straight down. Why is this so? It's because I'm recording. That's why. That's always the answer, right? Glue doesn't work. It's because you're recording. Can't get the backing off your dimensional. It's because you're recording. Okay. Get rid of these guys. Okay, and then what I do is I just burnish these guys. Good, so they stay down. I've always wanted to make a lantern. I think on my YouTube and my Pinterest searches every year, right before, you know, the holiday crafting starts, I look, paper lantern, paper lantern. I can never find one, and thank goodness for Stampin' with Amore, because this was like one of the easiest tutorials that I found. I thought it was just really simple. Okay, so the next big thing we have to do is cut the windows out. Okay, I will show you how to do that. Let me get my little machine. This is a little tricky because you have to kind of, this isn't going to fit, right? Our machine is only 6 inches wide, so that's not going to fit. But we can fold these over on top of the dies so that if you get a mark on the bottom, it doesn't matter because you're not going to see it. Jen, what are you talking about? Let me get some tape so I can keep my die in place. So I'm going to kind of find the center spot on here. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this like this and make sure it fits in. Oh boy. And I put my handle on the other side. This is so awkward. I love it. You're filming, that's why. Okay, ready? Stuff in the way on the other side. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to do this so you can see what it is I'm doing exactly. Okay. So I ran that through, cut this out, and you can see that it leaves a mark on the bottom, but you're going to be folding it in anyway, so it's okay. You don't got to worry about it. Okay, we pop this out, and we're going to continue. Next one. Tape is just... Okay, you're just going to fold those up so they can fit through the opening. Push it through. Crank it. Go all the way through. Oops. Okay. Got that one done. Thank you for sticking around. This is a longer one. Usually I have everything prepped and ready to go. This one I wanted to kind of walk through with you. Oh, I bent that a little bit. Yikes. Yeah, be careful. I don't know if you can see I bent this because it wasn't folded up. Make sure that whatever edges you have that are going your openings are closed, bent up, so that you don't get into any trouble like I just did there. This up. And one more. You're so patient. Or you're fast forwarding right now. I don't know. I'm not sure. That you're finding time to craft. I know this time of the year it's kind of hard because back to school, you know, summer's over, everyone's back from vacations, so it's kind of tough. I've been making it a point to find time to craft lately because my job is very crazy, so I've been trying to just treat myself. Let me get some other early espresso because I want to, while I have my machine out, we can use that third size die and cut 2 pieces for the bottom. Again, it's the bottom. I just put 2 pieces overlapping crosswise for a little bit of interest. Okay, we're almost there, and then we just have to put it together. I do have to cut some vellum. Vellum's not available anymore from Stampin' Up, but you can certainly find it anywhere. Or if you're like me, you have like 5 packs of it, so you're good to go. Okay, so I have these 2 guys. I have my lantern base. Let me just cut some volume. And what we need for the vellum, let's measure it again, even though I think it's 2 1/8. What are you going to need? This is 2 1/8 by 3 3/8. So that is the second smallest line under here. Oops, that was not a clean cut at all. I went rogue on that one. You see that? Like skidded off the... So, 2 1/8. And then 3 3/8. 3 3/8. Okay. So I got those pieces. 1 2 3 4. Okay, let's put this baby together. First thing you can do is glue your vellum on to give that time to dry. And after running these through over, the bottoms get a little rounded, so I just want to score those down again or burnish them down. Let's get our glue and other project. I put little dots in the corners and little skinny stripes. Not, you don't want this globby. So try to use something with a fine tip applicator because you don't want this smushing out everywhere. What I do is someone gave this to me, Michelle, if you're watching, and I fill it up with Tombow because I like how strong Tombow is. I just don't like the applicator it comes with. It's not fine enough. I always use too much and then it's globby everywhere. Okay. You can just put those on, and then I'll show you the decorations that I made to go on the sides of them while this is drying. So like I said, I cut out 1 green branch for each side, so 4 total. 2 pecan pie, so this is Mossy Meadow, pecan pie pine cones, which I then went over with some early espresso with a blender brush, and then 1 cherry cobbler berry. So I glued that all together. I did 3 of them before I started filming, and I'll do 1 now while we're waiting for the vellum to dry. I just put a dot here and a dot there. Then I kind of figured out where I wanted this to go. I'm like, oh, do I want this more up here? Do I want it over here? I think this one I'll do up here. So I kind of see which dot I want. Right, it's handmade and it's yours, so you do what you want. Okay. That berry apparently wants to come back with me. Okay, so leave that there. One thing you also have to do is pick 2 opposite. So this one and this one, and punch a hole, because that's what I do to open and close it. And get my little crocodile. Just go down and go down. Okay, so we'll start by gluing our box together on this tab. Oh, you know what you want to do first? You want to trim just a little bit off so that it doesn't poke through behind the vellum. Okay, so do this. And then you just fold over. Okay. And then we'll fold these guys down. So I see wherever I have, where I just glued that little seam, I kind of always like to keep it to the back. So the back I fold down first, side, side, and then I fold the front down like that. Okay. Make sure you put glue all over. So you don't want little corners coming up. I always do like a little here too, just to make sure everything sits down. You kind of want to square it so that your edges are good. Okay. What do I have? This other glue bottle. I'll just put it in here and go. Okay, and while that is there, let's glue our bottoms on. I kind of bend these a little bit just so they have a little bow shape. I'm gonna have to do it again once we glue it on. But, so you take a little glue, just kind of center it. And then you do the same thing again, a little glue. And then you center it. There you go, and you kind of have that neat little, like I said, not that you have to do this, I just thought it added a little, you know, something interesting to the bottom. Okay, and once you're done there, then you're just going to have to glue your pine cone pieces down. I'm not going to do all of them because we're already having a long video, but what I did was I kind of held it to where I thought, okay, I put some glue on the back of here and then just a little bit behind those parts of the branches, and I do let it hang off a little bit and then I trim it once it was dry, and I do that all around. Okay, and you can see here, put these together, you just a little bit of glue, and then you hold these together like so. You watch your pine cone fall off because you didn't let it dry. Pine cone, come back. I should probably pick that up before it glues itself to my desk. Come on, guy. Come on, buddy. Okay, so you'll do that with all 4 of your corners. Then, like I did, put a little tea light in there. And you'll take a length of ribbon. I'm using the ribbon from that celebratory Sips because I like the gold in it. And then you'll just close it up after you glue. You'll leave one open. So you'll glue 3 of them together like so. And then you'll leave one open, you know, not glued, so you can go doot, 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 doot. And you'll just thread it through and tie it up. And there you go. It's kind of hard to see the glow. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a fun little lantern. This could be, you can fill it with candy treats. You can fill it with a tea light. You can just hang it on your tree as an ornament. You can use it as a mega tag, although I think that might get smushed if you put it on a gift. But who knows? You can hang it off a bag. You can just leave it here on your desk with a light to make you happy. Again, guys, I'm using the Branching Out bundle. It is new in the mini catalog, and I really think that you should drop it in your cart. I will put the link below, because even if you don't need pine cones, it's got a lot of cute sentiment. And these dies, look, mine are already like, Jen, you're using me too much. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm using you too much, but guess what? You're awesome. Okay, and so are you guys for hanging in if you're still here. This might be the longest video I've ever done. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you see, please hit subscribe. I'd love you to see all my projects when I publish them. I'm also putting links to my blog post that will have all the measurements again, plus the products. And I'm also listing my different social media feeds, my Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, all that stuff, in case you want to follow me there. So please hit subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you get to do something super crafty today. Bye.